everyone. That was Van Thompson from Skanska, and that was someone from the private side. So we also have someone here, not from New Jersey, but from the New York side of the water. And we're so close, and I felt that this person, he's a pivotal person that you need to know, because he's working with folks in New Jersey as well to get them to do business in New York, and especially with the certification that Van was just speaking about. So I'll pull up his information right now, and for the filming. Yeah. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ken Williams from the New York State OGS.
All right, questions anytime. Okay. I think I've talked to a lot of you, but the biggest thing is the New York State program, which is 6%, is open to anybody. When they said, "What do you mean you don't have to be a resident of New York or whatever?" I say, "Look, when I raised my hand to serve back in 1970, I didn't raise it to serve a state. I raised it to serve the country, right?" So as far as I'm concerned, a vet is a vet is a vet. You do have to have what's called a New York State presence, which is my discretion. Basically, you can't be a vet who's never set foot in New York State, never done anything with New York State at all, and say, "Hey, if you certify me and I get some business, I'll come and do it." Okay? You have to show up. You have to show, do some events. The regulations say you buy things made in New York, things like that. For me, it's like, if you come to some of our events, or you just show me that you connected, somebody I just certified was born in New York's family still, that kind of thing. So it's not a high bar, all right? So I'll start that. What is the thing? It's achieve a statewide goal of 6%. Every agency and authority in New York State has to report to me how they can get to 6% of their spend. So you take the budget of a SUNY college, or you take the budget of any agency, any part of New York State, take away exemptions and exclusions, payroll, benefits, that kind of thing. Whatever's left, 30% goes to minority and women-owned businesses, 6% goes to service-disabled veteran-owned businesses, all right? Why? This is a thank you for your service program. It's not a disparity study, it's not anything else. It's simply a thank you for your service, which, when I came home in '73, there was nobody thanking anybody for anything back then. But when the governor asked me to do this, he said, "Why would you do it?" Because, they're paying me state wages instead of my private sector wages, so it's about, 25% of what I could be making. I said, because it's about time, okay? It's the right thing to do. Who? All right, honorably discharged, got to have a 10% or more service-connected disability. This is something you're never going to see just a veteran-only thing. I don't have my service-connected disability because I haven't gone for it, because I thought that was, I was in Germany, not Vietnam. I've been very successful. I said that should be for the vets that really need it, right? And I had a veteran organization come and tell me, "Oh, we thought you were smart." I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "Well, the more of us that get the designation, the more money we can get for the ones that really need it." And I know that's true, because when I had 50 businesses certified, getting agencies and the likes of Skanska to pay attention to me was very difficult. Now that I got 600, guess what? They're all, you hear STVOB. 3 years ago, they didn't even know how to say STVOB. All right, so it's huge. All right, located where? We're all over New York State and all across the country, okay? So I need, if you know vets that are friends of yours, okay? We vets, my wife told me I was not supposed to say this. We vets don't trust government programs. Pretty much a fair statement, right? I happen to be one of them, all right? So the vets out there, the people you know, you have to tell them there's an old son of a bitch vet that's running this program that's making it real, okay? And it's really working. Communicate that to them and tell them to get in the game, okay? Because, it is working. Doing what? All kinds of different services, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Only 35% are construction professionals. We have everything from drone businesses to medical supplies to weather forecasting. One of my businesses used to do the weather forecasting for Air Force One when they were in the service, very specific things. I've certified 597 in 3.5 years, okay? The program's been up and running, all right? And reasons to become. Over 15 million. The most recent quarter, we're up to like 20 million a quarter that's being dispersed to SDVOBs, okay? That is, last year, if you go to our webpage, which I'll show you in a minute, scroll all the way to the bottom, you can click on the report I just sent to the legislature at the end of December. In there, it'll show you this chart, okay? 56 million is what we did last year. That's actually the year ending September 30th, okay? 56 million in disbursements, all right? That represents about 1.5%, okay? When we get to 6%, that should be 4 times that number, a quarter, all right? Only about 35% of my businesses are actually engaged with doing the state. So I got 600 businesses, 35% of them are dividing up that 56 million, all right? You're talking opportunity, it's huge, okay? It's huge. So if you haven't got your service-connected disability, contact us. We'll try to point you to the right direction to get it, okay? 10% or more is not a high bar. If you have it and you've got a business, get the paperwork in. I turn them around quickly. This is our website. Most of you have picked up my card. If not, I've got some in here with me. Go to the website, check it out. The application is there, downloadable, fillable. It's one that I created. When I started, I said, typical government, right? The bill was passed in May of 2014. It took them till the end of August to get me on board, okay, going through the whole process. And one of the first things I said is, we have to have an application. The legislation requires we have to have an application out within, a certain amount of time. And they said, oh, don't worry about it, Ken. It's already the governor's office for approval. I took one look at it and said, bring it back. We're redoing it. So this is my creation. I had somebody just do it while they were sitting here, okay, and brought it back to me. So anything that you don't know, call us and ask, or just send it in with, and say, hey, we didn't know this. We get back to you. We answer emails. We call back. We'll send back saying, hey, we need this. You don't understand it. Talk to us, and we'll help you get it. It's not like send it in and the whole thing's rejected and go back. No, we don't do it that way. So we look to get. Right now, I don't know if I have I'm saying averaging 36 working days from when I receive an application to when I make my decision. Actually, right now it's 29, okay? I keep track of it. Last year was 32.4 working days. And in 90% of the cases, that includes a visit from me to come kick the tires, all right? On this route, I'm seeing a business tomorrow morning in Westchester, one on Long Island tomorrow midday, then I'm coming back to New Jersey and seeing a business, then I'm back to Westchester, and I have 2 meetings in Westchester the next morning. I'm turning 70 this year, and can still out-kick most people. But anyway, the reality is I'm passionate about this being for us vets. So what am I looking for in the certification? I'm looking for, can you perform? I'm just going to click these things. I don't know if I'm relating to them or not. Any questions, just jump in anytime. Can you perform? Are you legitimately in control? And, are you a veteran, who qualifies, right? If all that's true, then I'll get you certified, all right? You can't read all this stuff. I know for some reason it's really small. The application itself is easy. You get to this, supporting documents we need. You can talk to me after if you want to, but it's all there. I need some tax returns. I need some other stuff. You got to be, I got to have your service-connected disability thing in DD 214. It's pretty straightforward what I need. If you have your federal certification with the VA, CVE certification, you don't have to give me any ownership documents. Okay? If you got through their process going through that, the operating agreement and everything, I don't need, if you got through them, I don't need to see them. All right? However, I have not certified a number of businesses that had their CVE certification because in my opinion, they couldn't perform. All right? So I'm still going to take a good hard look at you. All right? If you are self-certified through the federal government, I give that no credibility whatsoever. Okay? Just saying. But it doesn't matter whether you had your CVE or not, the process is still going to be fast. All right? Questions so far? All right. On our website is our directory of businesses. You can search it by any criteria, any keyword, anything else. If you really want to know who our businesses are, just go to the search and, let's see, do I have it up here? I think I do. Yeah, here it is. Underneath the pictures are keywords, search by category, whatever. Just don't put anything in the boxes. Put nothing in and hit search. It'll dump everything out, and then you can export it to an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can search it however you want to. For example, the Olympic Regional Development Group wasn't doing much for our businesses, so I went up there a month ago, met with them because they have they're doing some big work in the next couple of years because they're hosting the university games, I think in 3 years, which they tell me is going to be bigger than the Olympics, the last Olympics they held up there. So they're building out all kinds of things. And so I dumped everything, all mine in an Excel spreadsheet, and I searched it within a certain radius of, of Lake Placid, and I said, here, look at all the businesses, I took it up and put it in front of them. I eliminated a lot of the categories and whatever. And it's like, wow, oh, wow, wow. And, now they're on board. Now they're going to do an outreach event, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, why do you want to get certified by New York State? What I say is there's no downside. There's absolutely no downside. You get our logo, which says you're a New York State Certified Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Business. I've had a number of my businesses tell me they don't care if they ever do business with New York State, because since they got that logo, their private sector business has gone through the roof. Okay? Unlike when I came home today, businesses want to do business with service disabled vets. An example is Legoland is coming to Goshen. Okay? One of my SDVOBs sent me an email showing, that it's a private project, purely private project. They put a 3% SDVOB goal on it, and they have a requirement that you're certified by New York State. Okay? The New York State certification means something because I have a very stringent due diligence. People know that it's legitimate. On the other hand, I have and take flexibility in, I hate to do this when I'm being taped. But anyway, when you're starting out, I'm a business guy. You can't do it on your own. You have to be able to work with others. I'm dead set against pass-throughs, like has been relevant in all these other programs. Okay? This needs to be for us vets. But if you're a vet just starting out a business, you can't jump into the game without help. So when you're early on, it's okay if you only self-perform just a little bit and you're working with somebody else. I say, okay, that's okay, as long as in doing that, you're growing your business. You're not just paying the light bill. You're growing your business. Next time you can do more. Next time you can do more. I have examples where if you talk to me personally, I don't want to do it on tape, but if you talk to me personally, I'll give you the exact, but I've had businesses that I've revoked the certification now on 38 businesses. Now, some of them have gone out of business, but any business that takes advantage of that and doesn't, my spiel is within 2 to 3 years, I need to see that the vet business can be totally independent of whoever's working with them. They have to have the capability of being that. But starting out, you can work with others. So talk to me individually. about that. And I've got success stories and I've got failures, but you know, you can't get in the game a lot of times without working with others. No questions? Yes.
I don't know if I misunderstood you. I thought you said that you do not certify CVE.
No, CVEs do not have to give me, you know, if you have the CVE certification, you don't have to give me the ownership documents,
Right.
operating agreement, all that. I have not certified some CVEs because in my opinion, they couldn't perform. Or they were a front for somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I still examine them, I still look at them. Okay,
It's they're not performing, you say, not that you don't think they can perform.
no, it's that I don't think they can perform. Okay, in other words, if I meet with you and I have degrees in accounting, finance, and law. I've had I've done marketing strategy for BMW North America as a consultant. I've had computer businesses. I've had all kinds of different businesses. I'm a turnaround guy, startup guy. Okay, I can talk to you, and in a very short number of minutes, I can understand whether you know what you're talking about or not. If I get the impression that you have no clue what you're doing, I'm not going to certify you. I'm going to send you the SBDC or somebody to say, hey, you need to get help, or you need to get somebody on your team who knows what they're doing. All right? And, you know, you can, there's an appeal process if you disagree with me, but I've never had anybody disagree with me. Because, look, I'm looking to certify all the vets. But if I certify you and you don't know what you're doing, then you're probably a front for somebody else. Follow? Okay, and that's what I will not tolerate. So, that's where that comes from. Okay? Speak up, they can't hear.
If you have more than one business, can you certify?
Yes, I have vets that have multiple businesses. Some of them are because of insurance reasons, okay, whether they're engineering and construction. Others are just, I have to look at them and make sure that the vet is in control of operations, all right? There is a limit, okay? There is a limit. But, yeah, as long as you can do more than one. Other questions before I get going?
I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned a site visit. What should the individual business that's being visited, what are the expectations? When you come in?
I show up, we sit down, we look eye to eye, and I ask questions, and you answer them, and no paperwork. It's just me getting, and then you ask me questions, and it goes back and forth. All right? It's most of my site visits, in all honesty, probably half of them are done in people's homes, right? They got an office in their house, and that's where they're operating out of, and that's fine. In my opinion, the most likely businesses to succeed are the ones that have the lowest overhead starting out. So if you're paying for a big fancy office starting out and you think that's helping you, it's not. Okay, I don't have a problem going to a garage or a shack or whatever. Been to a lot of them. All right. What I'm interested in when I go to the site visit is, do you know what you're talking about? Do you know your business? Here's the reason why. Skanska and other contractors have always been squeamish about having to do business with required businesses. All right, because their experience is they get them and they don't know what they're doing. All right. We veterans have to do it better. All right, it hurts the whole program if I certify somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. All right, and and it also it doesn't help you either, because you're not going to be successful, because getting work, this gets you in the door. Getting more work depends on how you do. State, all this state work is very small. Everybody talks to everybody else, and when you do well, it's amazing how it just flies around and does anything. Okay, does that get it?
Yes,
All right, we have the contract reporter, which is, you can all go to that now and you can sign up for it and see what comes out, but you won't be an SDVOB. You won't get that until you get the certification. But you can get notifications, the type of jobs and whatever. Again, work with the SBDCs, the PTACs, they work one-on-one. They can help you, decipher these things and do. I rely heavily on all of them. All right. There's another thing which I don't know if I've got up here or not. Open Book New York is a website that is, you can bring up and you can search it based on everything New York State buys and who bought it. So, you know, a little market research. But when I certify you, once I certify you, you get blasted. You get, not only do you get on our database that's on the website, which all the agencies go to look, but you also get blasted out. I've got over 2,000 people on an email blast list that every time I certify new businesses, I basically send out an email saying, here are the 5 businesses I just certified. All the information. Most of these people are just anxious to see that. They'll typically go to your website immediately and say, hey, is this somebody I can reach out to and look to use and get to know? Okay. All of the contractors, prime contractors for New York State, we didn't have, you know, some of these projects you saw, he said they didn't have goals on, right? Some of them started before I started rolling. You know, I had to be careful. I didn't have that many businesses. I didn't want to roll it out too fast, right? So LaGuardia, we didn't, you know, it didn't catch. We've got some of LaGuardia has 3% on it, but, you know, most of LaGuardia doesn't have anything. Now, the last vet I hired 8 months ago, I think now, I've had him go into the contract reporter every day and looking at every contract that comes out. If it doesn't have an SDVOB goal on it, they say, he contacts the compliance person and the contract person and say, can you tell us why there's no SDVOB goal on it? If it looks to us like there could be. If, you know, they started getting a little nasty with him, you know, whoa, we don't have to. And I told him, I said, look, simply say it's our job to try to help you get to the 6%, and we're documenting your responses. Okay? The amazing thing is goals are coming on like gangbusters now. Okay? Because I have the authority, I've got a lot of power to stop people from being able to bid. Okay? And, you know, so they've got to get on board. But we're still in the process of growing. I still don't have enough businesses. 600 is not enough. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay. I threw in these things. Anybody wants this presentation, I'm sure you can email me or whatever and I can send it to you. But, you know, I put these things up there just for, when I had, in one of my earlier businesses, I was thinking about doing some business with the state. I'm talking about, you know, 40 years ago, you know, 35 years ago. And there's, you know, I looked at it, I said, there's no way I'm going to do anything for New York State. They take 9 months to pay their bills, right? And, you know, I'm not going to do that. That's not true today, okay? I tell everybody 45 days, but there's incentives in there to be doing it in 20 to 30 days. If you have your paperwork in, you know, direct deposit, all that kind of stuff. If there's ever a payment issue, all you have to do is contact our office, and Anthony is really great at all of a sudden it takes a phone call, you know, to the agency who then talks to the prime, and a lot of times it's a snafu of something or other, and you know, it's amazing how fast we can get it straightened out. So we've had relatively small issues with people getting paid, okay? This is not a welfare program. It's a thank you for your service program. It's a chance to get your foot in the door. You've got to be competitive. If some, you know, one of the most disappointing things to me is when I get things back from agencies and, you know, they say, this SDVOB came in at 50% above, you know, what everybody else would be. All right? And, you know, that doesn't work. I tell them, well, then don't give them the business. And then I call the SDVOB and say, hey, look, you know, if you can't be competitive, don't put it in. All right? You got to be competitive. Will they cut you a little slack? Yeah, but not, you know, not a lot. And just because I put your name out there on a database and just because people are supposed to be reaching out to you doesn't mean you can sit back and wait for everything to come. All right? Marketing 101, you got to go out and you got to go to events that are on our website, go to things and meet people, do your, you know, you can contact us who are the compliance people in different agencies who are this, that, the other thing. You got to do a little work to market yourselves. All right. I wrote down these key resources. Okay? Now, I know Jeff's coming to talk about the New Jersey Chamber in an hour or shortly after me here. New Jersey has a program. Okay? It hasn't done all that much. I think Jeff will tell you that. All right. Huh? Zero. Okay. I've been contacted by 5 different states who say, Ken, your program has only been around for, very short period of time, and you've outperformed all of us, and blah, 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 blah. Fastest growing thing in the country and all this good stuff. What are you doing? Well, other than the fact that it's me, and I'm an old vet, which goes back to, basically when I was asked to do this, the governor's office, they said, Ken, we don't know how you're going to do this. We're virtually giving you no budget and no staff. They gave me a staff of 2 and a budget $15,000 over what my salaries and benefits were. And I looked at them and I said, I'm a veteran and I'm an entrepreneur, stay the hell out of my way. Okay. They have been tremendously supportive. Okay. It has been just a great experience, but we have, it has been a tremendous success. It also, the legislature and the governor had the sense to separate it from the other programs. In New York State, it's my division is within OGS, Office of General Services. It's totally separate from the Minority and Women program and the other programs that are in Empire State Development. I'm staffed up with vets. We have a passion for making this program work. Most other states' programs are commingled with the others, and you don't get the same level of passion. So, that's my suggestion to most of the states is separate the programs if you can, and then you've got to get people that are willing to go out and meet one-on-one with the vets, because this program has grown one at a time. Yes? 5 minutes is all I have? And time flies, doesn't it? Okay. See, I'm already at the end. I wanted to go back here. I can't say enough about the SBDCs and the PTACs. I don't have the time or the resources to work one-on-one with businesses. That's what all these people do, all right? They work one-on-one with the businesses. There's a group of our businesses, the Nivoba, the next to the bottom one, if you Google Nivoba, have put together an association. They're based out of Farmingdale. Their website is very helpful as well. I encourage them to start that so that, there are things that I just can't do, all right? So we can point you in the direction of people to get a lot of help. There is no need to pay anybody to help you. Free resources are available, and, very capable and competent free resources that are available. All right, again, the website shows you our events, shows you everything else that we have, and on down at the bottom of the website is the contact information, and then myself, the numbers here go to the office. I've got my cell phone all the time. If anybody wants to talk to me personally, they need to send me an email, and I'll call them from my cell phone, as long as you promise not to call me on the cell phone, because I don't want to be called. It's very disruptive when you're out as much as I am to have this thing, and then, trying to follow up with voicemails and all that good stuff, and you don't know who's calling. So call that number. Anthony's been with me since the beginning. He's a service-disabled vet. He probably knows a heck of a lot more about what you want to know than I do. But if you ever want to talk to me, shoot me an email and ask me to call you. If I don't call you, shoot me an email the next day. All right? Huh?
Is that your email?
That's my email, and I'll give you a card. Here, hang on. I got cards up here I'll give to anybody that wants it. I'll dig it out. I got this thing in here. Shoot me an email, ask me to call, and I'm going to still be here out at the table for a little while longer. I want to come in and listen to Jeff's spiel. But other than that, I'll be around. Any last questions? Because I got about 2 minutes left, I think. Yes.
Do you have any insight into how long your RFP processes are? From RFP to submittal to.
All right, I got approval for $1.5 million RFP for building a system to track all the, you know, everything I'm doing. You know, the contracts, the primes, who's on what, payments, et cetera. I did it as an SDVOB set aside. I think the RFP process has been 9 months. They're about to award the bid, I think hopefully this week. But I think it's been between 6 and 9 months. But RFP processes can take forever. You know, it's still government. Things take time. It took ITS 2.5 years to build me the database you see. Okay? That's why I have an email blast list of 2,000, because in order to get the word out, I had to just send it out directly to everybody instead of putting it in an Excel spreadsheet PDF. All right, I'm out of time.